So, welcome back, YouTubers. God, it's been a while. It's since October 2023 was the last time I posted after a show in Coventry. And what's changed? What's happened? Lots have happened. I've moved house. My business has taken off to a point now where I'm freelancing. So literally, I'm not supported by any other means of income. Confident that now I've got enough clients to be able to survive, pay the bills. To a large extent, I'm still not where I want to be, obviously, but yeah, golly, I got very ill in the winter, which I won't go into greatly. But basically, I had sepsis. I had a severe UTI. I was in hospital for 7 days. Anyway, cut a long story short, 6 months later, after loads of tests by Adam Brooks, everything is healthy. I do have kidney stones, so I do have to watch it. Not a young pup anymore. But it means that, in terms of this season, which I thought was a write-off, looks like it's on. So here we are. The comeback is on. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in a bit.
The standard of the athletes. I have never seen 11 Grandmasters bodybuilders on the stage as good as this before. Probably the best standard class we have out here. Gents, that's down to you. That's down to your hard work. That's down to your dedication to bodybuilding. Thank you. Okay guys, the results are in. Waiting to be announced in 60 seconds time. Once we have one last blast for our family and friends in the audience. Gents, when you hear the music, let's punch down!
So here we are, first meal of the day going in. I've already had one client, been a really successful morning so far. Great session we had together. I've been invited to a wedding as well by this particular client. I'm so excited for him and his other half. She's gone through a major operation, so she's recovering, but yeah, next summer. So I didn't think at this time of my life I would be invited to weddings, apart from my own daughter, obviously, potentially, who knows. But yeah, so here we go. Where we are, that's going in cranberry juice, which has been my staple to help all down here, but a bit of creatine in there, 5 milligrams. Start of the day, I've had my supplements in, so I've had my fasted walk. Currently sitting about 178. I've been there for about 5 or 6 days. Slow, coming in very slow. First show I'm aiming for is, well, first of all, I have a photo shoot a week before, so in 7 weeks' time or so, and then a week after that, I do a show in Bristol, the IBFA, close to my heart, because that was one of the first shows I did, the Derbyshire, which was an IBFA run show, and I've been to the finals. I've never placed, but it's nice to be able to achieve nationals early on in my career. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Now, obviously, where I expect to be in 7-8 weeks, I'm not going to be shredded. I'm not going to be the condition I think I want to be at. You know, I'm taking things nice and slow, but it's a barometer for what happens 8 weeks after, which is what I'm really excited about. You know, given where I was 3 years ago with my ban, my 7-year ban on the natural stage, you know, I'm excited to return to the natural stage. You know, it's just, I've got on my board here some of the goals that I want to set. You know, I've set for myself for this year. I won't share them at this point because obviously it's like anything, you've got to go for something, and if you don't quite achieve what you want, doesn't mean to say that you can't do it in the future. You know, always be mindful of that you can still achieve these things. Don't feel like you can't. So yeah, I'm going to get my first meal in because I'm hungry, and I've got push day today. So I had a refeed yesterday, which was I needed that. So basically a clean, just pushed in a little bit more extra oats, more carbs. So my carbs are up to about 230. And I took some photos in the evening as well, just to see the look. So I'm quite full at the moment. Obviously there's no detail really. But you know, this has come in. I'm pleased where I'm at. And what you got to remember as well, and this is where I kind of lost that sight when I made some mistakes at my last show. It's not about losing weight, it's about losing body fat. It's coming in as big and hard and conditioned as possible, with obviously you know, that sort of shredded conditioned look, but hard and big and full, which is really hard as a natural to achieve that. And one of the areas that I struggle with is shoulders, chest, upper part. I tend to lose that. I lose my width. And then you just look very stringy, and you know, the look I thought, well, that's gone too low. So when you self-coach as well, you don't always see that third eye, you lose. So I've got to be really careful that I keep, particularly like my legs. I lost my legs as well, which is kind of one of my strongest body parts. I have had a knee issue as well, but you know, generally I've managed to keep the size, so we'll see how we go. But here we are. I'm going to get this meal in and I'll speak to you later. So we're back. So we did push. I was quite pleased, given yesterday's refeed. My strength was holding on the incline dumbbells. It's not just about getting the numbers, it's getting the execution of the reps, getting good reps rather than 2 or 3 sloppy ones, you know. So it's not always about I've got 7 reps. If it was a 7 good one, you know. Particularly right now as I'm coming down, injury, you know, you get more susceptible to injury towards the deeper you go. So yeah, pretty pleased. Maintained all the way through, good intensity. Obviously felt good after the refeed. So, you know, everything is, good place. Just done some study. So now, obviously, that's really... And don't forget to weigh your food. So 7 grams is 288. To weigh your food, you need to know what's going in. You have to be quite meticulous. That's one way of doing it. Most people do that. You can get scales that can do a... Right, here we are. Out for a short walk. Got quite a few steps in this morning, but need to get a few more in between the bouts of rain. We haven't had much rain in the last few weeks, so I guess it's good for the garden, isn't it? I've got my umbrella just in case. Yeah, I thought actually, you know, going back on onto YouTube, what messages, you know, what am I trying to say? And what's the purpose of doing it? Looking back at sort of previous things I've done with the episodes, you know, and it is about the passion of competition. I love the whole getting ready for something, and you know, the challenge of working on a daily basis towards something. You know, it's on the day of the show, you know, post show and all that stuff. I love all that. It's so, for me, it's without social media, I have done it obviously before social media was around, and a few years ago we used to just do shows, turn up, go home, go on holiday, whatever, enjoy that for myself. Obviously now, you know, I've got into this side of the business, like PT, you know, to help people as well, and sort of encourage, and you know, you want to lead a little bit in your industry, and try and bust a few myths as well, and try and kind of communicate some messages that, you know, inspire people and be positive and all that kind of stuff. And I suppose really my message today was, 6 months ago I was in a really bad state health wise. You know, it doesn't matter where you think, if you think you're healthy, and of course being in that industry, you know, everyone assumes you're Mr. Healthy, and you know, by and large I've never been in my life, but you know, it doesn't matter what you say. Obviously I'm not getting any younger, but you know, when your health does fail, which it did, and there's many reasons why, which I won't go into, but you know, at that time, but it does, it makes you appreciate when you come through that dark tunnel, because let's face it, I did contemplate my own mortality once or twice, particularly on the ambulance to Peterborough Hospital. You know, I was extremely worried, and when you come through that, and you know, you realise how lucky you are, and you know, the ability, I'm hoping that my body can withstand a prep. But ultimately, and I think this is where the message today is, you know, I think this channel is devoted towards bodybuilding, not personal training, you know, try and sort of segregate the two. Although my newsletter going out shortly to PT clients and non-clients from my database will be a little warning to say, look out for my shades of orange, because obviously when the season starts, I start to tan up. You do look ridiculous when you've had that really dark tan on, and because I'm quite pale most of the time, it's a bit of a shock. People see me. I say that I've just been to the Caribbean for a week or a day or something like that. It's quite funny, but you know, joking apart, this channel is really, you know, I started training when I was 17 in a bodybuilding gym, you know, learned as I went and competed when I was 19, and then, you know, so I had that real sabbatical sort of 40s where I didn't compete, but I was never stopped bodybuilding. Always part of my life, always tried to stay in shape as much as I could, even during those years when, you know, you have a young family and you know how important family is and the priorities that it takes away, you know, they become your first priority for everything, obviously. So, you know, now I'm in my sort of senior years, you know, I'm able to devote that time back. It's like that itch, isn't it? It just doesn't go away until you set yourself a dream or a target when you're 18, 19, and you feel it's like unfulfilled, and until I actually reach that point, I won't be satisfied. And I think it's like anything, if you set yourself a goal, it's the challenge. Whether you reach the goal or not, it's not the destination, is it? Without being corny, it's the challenge of doing it. Whether you fail or, you know, fail big. I tell my daughter and my son, if you want to go for something, go for it. And it doesn't matter what people say to you, or people will try and put you off or think you're not going to make what you want to do with your life. You've got to go and do it. So however large or small your goals are, do it. Just go for it, and don't worry about failing, because failing is part of ultimately becoming better, isn't it? Because you learn. Anyway, that's my deep. But the purpose of this, really, the message is, for me, obviously health has been a big worry, concern, and when you get through and come through the other side, to be able to do this, I'm very blessed. And there's this, I'm a sportsman through and through. I come from a family of sportsmen. My dad played professional football, my brother was a professional cricketer, and I've seen the dedication my older brother showed, and it's phenomenal, really. Practice, the hours spent, the ups and downs, and if I look back over the last 8 years or so, nearly a decade competing, the highs and lows have been phenomenal. And obviously the low 3 years ago, when I'd reached the high, then I got the big low with the ban, and quite easily I could have just quit, especially with the health issues. I could have thought, jack this in now, mate, you're too old, forget it, what is it, I understand, just be sensible. But when you've got that sporting passion, you can say what you like, whether bodybuilding's a sport or not, it's more of an art to me sometimes. Whatever it is you're going for, if you've got a goal and you feel it's unfulfilled and you haven't reached it, then don't quit, just keep going. And even when you've had some setbacks, come back stronger if you can. It's two fingers, isn't it? It's that little bit of a chip. I had a chip on my shoulder in a good way, to show that I can get back on that natural stage. And ultimately you want to compete, you don't want to just stand and be an also round. Yes, of course, but I'm not naive or dumb enough to know where I'll be in September, because I'll be up against some very, very good athletes. When you've been on the stage for 3 years, you've got to have a bit of realism about where you might finish. But that's not really my concern at the moment. I'm just enjoying every day, enjoying the prep, the challenges it meets, the discipline required, the sacrifices, the structure, everything. Ultimately it's all down to a day, you're working towards something. But what it does in the rest of my life, it creates this disciplined structure in which all aspects, business, knowledge, trying to strive to be better, more educated, so that I can help ultimately clients. Just give you an example today, obviously on a study. So it's all positive. It's all positive. And like you say, even when I feel like I'm moaning to myself, or I feel a bit and I'm low on carbs and I don't feel great, just have to be really grateful that I can do this without knowing when you have something that's overhanging you. It can just, your whole life stops basically until your health is okay. And got to be sensible. I do have kidney stone. I'm told that's quite painful when you pass. So, you know, I've got to watch it. Last thing I want is to be passing that. Can you imagine backstage, 10 minutes before you go on, or sometimes when you come off stage? So, you know, there is a health warning, but look, life is a risk, isn't it? I've taken some risks over the last 18 months with my business, and, you know, I've been moving after 25 years in town to come to a town I don't know, start all over again. So, you know, you've got to take some risks, and you've got to do the things you want to do. So don't make apologies. Just go and do it, and do it with a smile if you can. Somebody said to me, my YouTube videos are a bit of a waffle, and I don't smile, and I'm a bit straight-faced. Yeah, that's me though. I can be quite serious, but I do have a sense of humour as well. I can lighten up, but I think sometimes, you know, in like a prep mode, I do get like a bit boxerish. What I mean by that is I've got my hood up, I'm in a bit of a zone. It's like when I'm training, I still have the odd chat, and I stop every now and again just to lift myself out without breaking that intensity. But at the same time, it's like, if you want to do something, do it 100%. Don't do it half-cocked. Don't give yourself excuses, because 9 times out of 10 you won't finish. So, you know, do it the best of your ability. And like I say, I've said it many times on previous, the chips will fall, let the chips fall as they are. You know, control what you can control, and you know, everything else will take care of itself. You can't worry about that. So yeah, I'm just going to finish off the last bit down here, and then make my way home. It's stay dry, which is good, and pick up where I left off, which is do some more work, and then I've got posing tonight, and then a few more steps to finish. So pretty much how the day is running, that's how it's going to run. My daughter will come up next week, maybe for a day or two, which is fine. Again, I don't stress about things like that because I don't see them very often. So does that affect my prep? How does that affect my prep? Well, one thing I have done is off plan. I go a bit off plan, I'm relaxed, which actually helps me, so it's not a bad thing. But it's also sometimes I still do the things. I might not train for that day, obviously, to free up time to spend with my daughter, and it's nice for me to lift myself out of prep, especially I'm in a long prep, 25 plus weeks all told by the end of the season, probably longer if it's successful. So, you know, those odd days are actually wisely spent in terms of making sure that I don't burn out. You know, give myself, the body's rested, relaxed, it shows in the physique. So, but I'll sign off now, and I'll catch up later. So here we are, look at that blue sky. It was not thunder, black clouds and rainy a few hours ago. But, nice evening now, it's about 6:30. Last bit of walk of the day, just a couple of thousand steps, just done my posing, so that's up to 24 minutes. Basically quarter turns, mandatories, takes me about 3 minutes to go through each one, as in I'm holding each one for about 10 seconds, so imagine that's about 8 rounds or so. So yeah, my stamina to do that is improving, and I think everyone should know that posing element is so important. You have to really spend a lot of time doing it. I don't enjoy it in that sense. I'm not looking in the mirror, obviously I'm sensing where I need to be and thinking about the positions, always looking to try and improve certain poses, but yeah, ultimately having that stamina to be able to stand on stage, even if you might be on there for 15 minutes, but believe me, that 15 minutes sometimes is extremely intense, and if the adrenaline is going, if you start to shake, or it's you haven't practiced enough, then it will show. But anyway, so yeah, pretty much boxes all ticked today. Pretty happy. A few leads as well to follow up on tonight, online, and also a phone call as well. I've got a phone call, so yeah, all in all, good day. Got some of the newsletters out. It's interesting. In my newsletter, I mentioned that people may see me, I'll just put it at the bottom as a footnote, people may see me looking a little bit orange from time to time this season, and that's mainly because I'm pale. I'm not saying orange, but obviously when I have a tan, it's sudden, and it's sometimes often post-show, or even lead up to a show, it goes quite deep. So it's like I've been to the Caribbean and back in a day, and people comment, but it doesn't bother me. It's quite amusing, really. But yeah, it was just a shout out to people, so that, and also, and I'm certainly not in this prep because I've said already, I'm completely grateful for being able to do this, given where I was 6 months ago, and also coupled with that, with the ban as well, all that lifted, and it's like a new lease of life. And prep at the moment, although it will get tough, I'm not going to walk around with a miserable face and scowling and getting angry and all that stuff, because otherwise, well, what's the point? It's a choice at the end of the day. It's a choice I make, and that desire to step on stage and be better, that's the main goal, and being on that stage. So yeah, it leaves me to say I'll sign off for now. This is episode 1 of the comeback trail. I don't know what to call it yet, I'll have a think, but I'll sign off now. It just makes me to say, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.